Instead of protecting them, he has actually decided to harm them, to kill them, to make life impossible for them, to torch their property, to send policemen with guns to kill them. Why on earth would a policeman on duty be hooded? Because they don't want people to know them. Why would a policeman go with an unmarked car? And we are asking, Murkomen thinks Kenyans are very stupid. He is saying that we need to know who are those people, what were they doing there. There were 2,000 policemen. There was 4 platoons of GSU. There was 4 platoons of unstock theft unit. If it was normal crime, they would have stopped it. But they didn't stop it because they had instructions to let those police goons do what they had come to do.
Okay, your point is across, and you've been on record previously mentioning about, is it 101 trained police officers?
Yes.
Is this the same unit
the 101 police officers was trained specifically for abductions and extrajudicial killings. They are the ones who abducted and killed the agencies. And they were all from the administration police, trained to kill, to abduct, and to conceal and attach the National Intelligence Service. That is a different group. This one that is attacking people and churches, that is a group by Murkomen. That is a special group by Murkomen to deal with the politics. Murkomen brief by William Ruto is to make sure he is re-elected through goonism and violence, and to suppress anybody who has a different opinion and who does not support William Ruto.
What does that say about the National Police Service? Who's the puppeteer? Because it seems it's been captured, yet it's supposed to be independent.
The IG is a flower girl. He's very frustrated. He told a friend of mine that he could even resign because he does not know what goes on in the National Police Service. He deployed people, and he did a good thing. But I warned him. I said, I don't think you know the instructions. He deployed 16 police officers in every polling station. Yeah? 2 inside and 14 outside. He did his job. He deployed GSU just in case there is problem. He deployed ASTU just in case there is problem. He brought water cannons. But Murkomen sent another group that overpowered what IG had deployed. And they were told not to interfere with the activities. He's a very helpless man. He's a man from my village. And I have told him to consider resigning because he will be the most disgraced head of police since independence. That the police he heads has become a goon police. Goons are part of the National Police Service. They go in the same vehicles. He is the head of police that attacks citizens. I mean, it must be a very painful thing to Douglas Kanja, if he has any conscience, that the people you lead, the people under you, who are supposed to protect life and property, are the one killing people, beating people, and destroying property. I think he must be a very agonized person. But I don't think he can resign because he has a problem. And I think the president holds him hostage because his papers are not good. Yeah? IG Kaja, his degree certificate is fake. And I can tell you as Rigathi Gachagua.
How would you know that?
I know that because the president told me himself that this man, he will do what I want because he didn't have papers. It was even challenged. Then the president organized for him to get some fake papers. Douglas Kanja has a fake degree. So the president holds him hostage. And I think what is happening is that the president will want to keep Douglas Kanja up to the election so that Murkomen can do whatever he wants within the National Police Service, and then Kanja can be blamed. That is exactly what is happening.
Okay.
You know? And Kanja is helpless because I don't think if he resigns, the president will go for him. I think he will just have to stay there, allow Murkomen and Omolo do crazy things within the National Police Service, kill Kenyans, injure them, try to steal the election, and then the blame is taken to IG Kanja when things are just actually being done behind his back. In fact, Murkomen works with his tribesmen. He's called Eliud Langat. You know, the attack, the killing of Albert Ojwang, evidence is now being given that it is DIG Langat who ordered that man to be tortured.
Well, it's a case before the courts.
No, but
yeah, so sub judice. I know you know
but
these
things. It's going on.
Yes.
You know this is public information.
True.
It's actually the crisis in the National Police Service is that Kipchumba Murkomen is running the National Police Service through Eliud Langat outside the command of the IG. But the IG, because he is held hostage by William Ruto because he has a fake degree, he cannot talk, he cannot say anything. He's a man in agony.
Okay.
He's a man in agony.
Rigathi Gachagua,
No,
this is the point, even as you continue, this is the point where I say this simply your sentiments, and KTN hasn't verified those claims. But as we continue, there's an attempt to legislate how picketing and demonstrations are done in the country. I'm sure you've heard of reports, KNCHR, the Attorney General's office, developing a bill that is seeking to regulate peaceful demonstrations following that Kisumu court landmark ruling that tasked government to develop, publish clear legal operational regulations governing public assemblies. Are we over-legislating despite the problem being police and non-compliance to the rule of law?
All those things will be thrown out by the court because they go against the Bill of Rights. You know, any legislation that is inconsistent with the Constitution is null and void to the extent of that inconsistency. The 2010 Constitution has the best Bill of Rights, and the right to picket is there in the Constitution. There is no way we can suppress the right to picket. In fact, we don't have a problem. You know, I heard the president saying, oh, the problem, people arrested, they are released by the courts. The people who attacked Wetima have not been arrested and taken to court. So, Mr. President, what are you complaining about? The people who attacked me in Lemuru, they have never been arrested. The people who attacked Sifuna in Kakamega, in Kisumu, they have not been arrested. I don't think the issue is the courts. The issue is the infiltration of the National Police Service by William Ruto and Kipchumba Murkomen to quell dissent and to suppress freedoms and to kill democracy. I think that is our challenge. Our challenge is that William Ruto has decided to use the criminal justice system to deal with his opponents, to make sure that they have no space, and to force what he wants to the people of Kenya using the National Police Service. But when I listened to the police this afternoon, I'm a very happy Kenyan. The police have told me they will not bugger the election, and they will not take illegal orders. They will do what is right. The beauty about a general election, Rogers, it's not like a by-election. You know, by-election, you can send 2,000 police officers to one station. You can send a wrong police unit. We have more than 50,000 polling stations in Kenya. Each polling center needs 2 policemen. They are not enough. You have to add the prisons. You have to add cadre. There will be no policemen to cause chaos in the general election. Even goons will be in their home, voting and defending whoever has paid them. Every goon will go to his place. There will be no, you know why Kalou was stifled? It was the only election in the country. So all goons from the country were taken to Kalou. All the wrong police officers were in Kalou. All members of parliament, 91 were in Kalou. But during the general election, Betty Minor, who has been causing chaos in the region, will be struggling to be elected in Murang'a. She will be fighting for her life. Eric Wamombi will be in Madera. Kimani Ichung'wah will be in Kikuyu. Kila mtu atakuwa kwao. William Ruto will be struggling to see how he can be elected. He will not be available to assist anybody. All these ministers and PSs were in Kalou. Kila mtu atakuwa kwao. What I'm happy about, the police officers who are in uniform were very professional. The county commissioner, the regional commissioner, they were very professional. In fact, most of those officers were really irritated that policemen are attacking Kenyans. They are attacking voters. So my own comfort as a Kenyan, when I talk to the police, 95% of the National Police Service will observe the rule of law. 95% of the senior commanders will give the right instructions. 95% of the National Police Service, the rank and file, will disobey illegal orders. I can tell you. And since William Ruto will be going home, and you know these policemen also live in this country, you know it's not that they are strangers, they are also listening to the ground because they stay there in the police post, they stay there in the police station. They also know, the police are telling us, they also know there will be change. So I don't think on the last day of Ruto's presidency, Any police officer who is aware of what the ground is saying will agree to suppress the will of the people, will agree to take illegal orders to try to preserve a president whose fate has been decided by the voters. To me, when I saw the clerks are good, when I saw the POs are good, when I saw the returning officer is good, when now I have reason to believe the policemen will keep law and order, I trust we'll have a good election, and any attempt by William Ruto to cause violence will be resisted by the people of Kenya. Any attempt by William Ruto and his people to try to steal the election will be resisted by the people of Kenya. I'm so persuaded.
Gachagua, now that you've told us that police is not beyond reproach, your critics say that perhaps it's now that the shoe is on the other foot that you're calling them out. They'll take you back to photos you used to post during the late Raila Odinga-led demonstrations right after the general election. And I'm pretty sure you remember the captions: to ensure that peace and tranquility is of utmost importance even while these protests were happening. Lives were lost during that particular protest. Did you use the police service personally?
No. And when I was in office,
yes,
we never sent police goons to attack the people of Kenya. The police were there fighting with the demonstrators, but there were no policemen sent specifically to fight the people of Kenya. You know, as far as I know.
So
you know,
who were they fighting, if not the people? Because lives were lost, sir.
Well,
in the police brutality.
In demonstrations, lives were lost, and it's very regrettable. And you are aware, probably you know, that one of the things that made me and William Ruto differ was the killing of the Gen Zs. If you remember, during the 25th protests when Gen Zs were killed, and William Ruto issued a press conference and called them criminals and treasoners. The following day I called a press conference. I said they are not criminals,
yes,
they are our sons and daughters. My record is clean in matters human rights,
okay,
in matters the rule of law. I have been, you know, I was a security officer myself. I'm a trained paramilitary officer. I have served in the security sector the better part of my younger life, and I really believe in the rule of law. That's why I'm very irritated and actually very, very offended that people trained to protect life and property can take away life.
Gachagua, we have 1 minute.
Yeah.
We have to talk about this issue of goonism, because at the end of the day, there are those rogue police officers, but we have disenfranchised youth who have been excluded from decision-making tables and hence are taken advantage by politicians to cause mayhem or to attack their competitors. At the end of the day, how do we deal with goonism with finality from where you sit?
Let me say that goonism in itself is not a very serious challenge. No goons can sustain attacks on people because people will say no. Why goons have become a problem in this country is because they are working hand in hand with the police. So they give them cover so that when the goons are overpowered by Wananchi, the police open fire. You know? I went to Gatundu for a church, and Moses Kuria sent goons to attack me. They were dealt with by the people, but police came to rescue them. So it makes the goons to become very embodied. You know, if police decided there is no goonism, even if politicians hire goons, it will be very short-lived because it will not be allowed. I don't think Wananchi will allow goons to create mayhem because people will defend themselves. And goons who are not armed with the guns cannot be a threat to people for a longer time. So if the police decided, if the president decided today to abandon goonism, to remove Murkomen from office and get somebody sober, and if he really wants his tribesmen, he has many people who are good, people with a proven track record, people of good credibility, and people who have served this country with distinction. Among the Nandis, among the Psigis, among the Marakwets, among the Tugans. You know, if he wants another Marakwet like Murkomen, they are there, and we know them. Once if the president makes the decision, because the buck stops with him. Murkomen, all these things doing, he cannot do it without William Ruto. Because William Ruto can see there is a problem. When people are shooting on top of a Prado, like in a movie, it was like a movie. Even Ruto has seen those videos, and there is no war, and the people are not armed. These are innocent voters. And then police with rifles on top of Prados moving at a terrific speed, shooting everywhere.